My talk is Perfect Imperfectness. And welcome to Unity in the Dunes. So, I heard at Unity Village, one of the speakers, Galen, from Universal Christ Temple in Chicago, he said there's something radically right with humanity. And that's not what the world tells us. The world tells us, right, there's something wrong with you, there's something wrong with people. People are not good. But what is our one of our principles in unity is that all people are inherently good. Right? We are all children of God, and we are inherently good. So that goodness inside of us all. And if we can see the Christ in others, it really encourages them to bring out that goodness in them. You know, in psychology, they've called it self-fulfilling prophecy, right? What we expect in someone. So if we expect to see the Christ in the light, then that's what ends up showing up. So my talk is titled Perfect Imperfectness because all the things we think are wrong with ourselves, all those parts of us that we don't want to be, that we try to bury down and shove down, actually are just calling for acknowledgement, calling to be loved, calling for love, calling for us to see those parts and to love those parts of ourselves. So our journey is through consciousness, right? We might think it's through space and time. How many times have you heard people say, well, I gotta move away from here, I gotta get away from this, right? But we take ourselves with us, right? Wherever we go, we take ourselves with us. So we might think the journey's through space and time, but it's really through consciousness. And as we move through space or time, that is a model for the journey through consciousness. So we can sit and meditate, and we can pray, and prayer is really changing our consciousness, not God's consciousness. Right? God is unchangeable, principle, truth. So we're really changing our consciousness. So we can sit in the same space, not moving, but meditate, and we're moving through consciousness. Or life has a way of moving us through consciousness. Right? We can look back at the things we've done or said and have regret. Like, oh, why did I say that? But of course, I'm looking from a new consciousness now. I'm looking from a new perspective. So of course I wouldn't do or say the things that I said before because I'm in a whole new consciousness now. And with that, we can be gentle with ourselves because we can only ever act from our current level of consciousness. So, of course, I'm going to do better, right? You've heard the saying, when you know better, do better. So I've been on a journey lately of incorporating these parts of me that I've shunned away. And I was called to ministry, and I tried to wiggle out of it. I tried to deny it, like, no, not that God is wrong, but that maybe I misinterpreted it, or, wiggle out of it, do things. But guess what? I'm still called to ministry. That tapping in my heart is still there, no matter what I do. And then I found that all the things that I've been hiding, right? Shame lives in secrecy, I've heard. And all the things that I've tried to shove down and bury away just really are low, brings me to a low vibration. Shame, guilt. And if we can get up out of that low vibration into a higher frequency, so whatever works for you, meditation, music has played a big, big role in my life. I've recently been playing the song I Am. I was telling Zach last month. And I play it on loop. I'm like, this is the frequency I want to hold. I want this to be my set point. That I am. So that is the name for God that everyone can identify with. Because as soon as we start to give a name, we have our context and experience that could cloud the way and shut us down from listening. But who doesn't know that I am? And then I heard John Stringer call it the inner genius. And we can all know what that means and resonate with that. The inner genius, that inner goodness, that God within. Is that unity we know. God is not a man in the sky, but within us, all along, always been there, even when we thought we were alone. So I found that no, those parts that I've been hiding, those parts that I said will make me not a minister, are actually my ministry. So was it 2 months ago I spoke on my transition. I am transgender. In 2015, I really, it's always been a continuum, right? From tomboy when I was little to, but I started testosterone in 2015, and every step of the way has been liberating. From cutting my hair to shaving. I used to pluck my hairs and then they're getting thicker, and then I'm thinking, oh no, I'm gonna have a beard when I'm older and all this, but that weakness was made my strength. Because within 6 months, I, had a goatee going on and was my strength. So I'm like, no, this is my ministry. I thought it would hurt my ministry, but no, it is my ministry. There are people that need to hear this. They need to know that God loves them, and Spirit has led me on this journey. God has been with me all the way. It has been the promptings of my heart that has given me the courage to take these steps. And really, I couldn't have done it without God. So I'm sure you felt this heaviness in your body at times, right? Maybe tightness in your chest, heaviness on the shoulders. I get it in my neck, and I'm doing a lot of work trying to clear that and align my spine, because there is these ways of thinking that the burden is light. As Jesus said, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. So there is this way of standing that the burden is light. All our muscles were built, to hold us up. But if we're closing our heart, then we're putting strain. Or if our legs are tight, it pulls on the lower back. But if everything is doing their own job, then it's actually easy to stand and walk, and the burden is light. And I use that as a model for there are these ways of thinking that the burden is light. So we've felt this heaviness, this tension in our bodies at times. And sometimes, as going through our experiences, life could get so heavy that it just feels so dense and we're so weighted down. You know that spirit? That I can't, that I don't want to, the life is hard, the people are mean, people can't drive. Like, we've felt this heaviness. And when I became aware of this, I called it density. Like, it's so dense. But we're really built to be light and free. You are the light of the world. And we could think light as in light or the sun, or we could think light as in lightweight. Right? A butterfly is lightweight. Flowers have such a low density. Can you still hear me? Flowers have such a low density, that they're just here today and gone tomorrow, right? And in all their glory, and they're beautiful, and they're so beautiful. Well, we can tap into that energy. We can meditate looking at a flower. And I've held the intention to be light, like a flower. And it's beautiful to be in that space, that higher vibration, that light, that God is, I am, and all is well. But how do we get there? How do we get out of that heaviness? Because as soon as I'm in a high vibration, I'm like, yeah, I could always stay here. I know how to get here. What? You don't know how to get here? What? It's easy. No, it's not. Because when you go back to that heaviness, it's like, oh, how do I break through? How do I get out of this? Well, we're only as strong as our weakest link. And for me, I found that my weak link was willing. So in Unity, we have 12 spiritual powers, and one of them is will. That is our inheritance. That is our God-given power, will. As we were told in the meditation we did, that activate your will. So what I found is that I would give up. I'd do really good. I would learn these things and go to church and do all these tools, and then I'd give up and throw it all away. It's like we get the momentum going, and then I thought of the model, an airplane going, and then just take a nosedive with all that momentum. So now I've held the intention to not give up. And what changed that was saying, I am willing. Even if we have to start with, I'm willing to be willing. So, you looking for the fire thing?
Yeah. Sure, I put it right on the table here. Oh, I just need the batteries. That's fine.
So, I think last month it was, I gave a talk about willingness. And I've been practicing this all month, 5 weeks actually. Say, I'm willing. Whenever I get that heaviness and I feel like I want to give up and it's too hard to throw it all away and I can't do this, and I say, nope, I'm willing. I'm willing. And if you've ever been, in school, when they call us to do something or say something or go in group work, I love math, and I love math class, but this one class, they always put us in group work, and I actually used to be shy. I couldn't even talk to one person. So I would dread the group work, and I'm like, oh, no. So maybe you felt that, like, no, I don't want to, right? But we actually had a group thing at Unity Village, and that actually rose up. Well, I don't want to get up and move and go and a group. And then I'm like, nope, I am willing. I am willing. And in this aligned relationships class that I'm taking with John Stringer and his wife, Kathy, they were saying, who's ever willing, like to speak what we wrote down after the meditation. We did some writing, and they kept saying, who's ever willing, I'm like, that's me, I'm willing. Because I've been putting that intention in, I am willing. And I had to start with, I'm willing to be willing. And this Power of Prayer book that I spoke on last time with Unity, it said, I am willing to see my worth. I'm willing to see my worth. I'm willing to be complete. And I am okay. Was a prayer that really helped. Someone who wrote a little excerpt for Unity. And so I've been taking that and using that, and she said it soon became the I'm willing to be complete became I am complete. Because I was trying to jump there. I am. It's the affirmations that Unity teaches us. I am complete. I am worthy. No, I had to start with I'm willing to feel worthy. I'm willing to see my worth. I'm willing. So that was my weakest link. We have 12 spiritual powers: faith, will, understanding, imagination, enthusiasm, and power. Look, there's 6 of them all right here. And I heard at Unity Village, no wonder why we're so heady, right? Always in our head. So, then going on, the heart, love, and wisdom, elimination. I've been also calling and activating that one, because how many times do we want to hold on to stuff? Right? And then it might show up in our life as actually holding on and having clutter around us. And clearing that is a model. And it actually also, I found, clear space spiritually in the mind. I've been pulling weeds and imagining, plucking out beliefs that no longer serve me. Because our subconscious is good soil. It will grow whatever we plant there. So pulling out the things that no longer serve me. Yes, you served me for a time. It's the perfect imperfectness. Because you served me well. You did your job. You got me to here in consciousness. Thank you. And we can actually have gratitude for ourselves instead of looking back as regret, and reinterpret that. So my weak link was will, elimination. So I've been calling on that power, right? To release, to let go. It's not like we can ever get to where we're going, right? The journey, it's all about the journey. And there's always this ebb and flow, or this maintenance that we have to do on ourselves. So there's always a need to eliminate, to release, right? Clear clothes you don't wear anymore, give them away to someone who could use them. Clearing space, closets, drawers. So I've been practicing that as well, eliminating. It feels good. It feels lighter and free. Removing the density out around me also helps me clear the density within. So elimination, release, life, and strength. So it's a chain, right? And we might be really good at activating enthusiasm. I love teaching math, so it's very easy for me to get out there and be enthusiastic about it. But will I found was a weak link. And then strengthen that weak link, and now I'm stronger. My whole being is stronger. So finding that weakest link. And then, what happens when I strengthen that one? Well, there might be another. Now this one's the weakest link. So there's always this need for this constant maintenance and ebb and flow. Right? We have to keep breathing out, releasing, to be able to take in the next breath fully. So this density, I found, don't even have to name it. We don't even have to give it a story. It's just this energy that moves through us all. Energy flows. It moves. And whatever we were holding on to, this density within us, it feels the same, but we might call it something else. Oh, this regret, this guilt, or whatever we want to call it. So I found we don't even have to name it. We have the spiritual power of release, elimination. We can call on that because we say it's so. Power, the throat. We can decree anything for our life. We have that power. So let the density move. Let it move through. I've heard that feelings only really have a life of 90 seconds. Right, but how long do we, hold on to them, clench onto them. I don't feel good. I don't feel good. My son kept saying last night. I'm like, well, stop saying that. Let him move. It'll pass. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. It's given me comfort. And being willing helped me to do the things that help me. Listening to music. I love the water. I sit by the stream or swim in the lake. Just intention of it cleansing me, washing me clean, letting go. So with our spiritual body, we can release. Let go, let God, as we hear in unity. So I am willing breaks me through. Even if I have to keep saying, I am willing, I am willing, I am willing, it breaks me through that density. That I have found to help me. And then just when I think I know it and I got this and I know how to get out of that heaviness, I'm faced with even more of a challenge of letting go. Now this isn't working, right? So just keep practicing. It's a practice. Doing all the things I know how to do, all the things that brought me to a higher vibration. So at Unity of Northwest Indiana, I took this grace class with Reverend Geraldine Colby, and we got this grace prayer, this beautiful printout of the grace prayer. So I placed this on my door. I'll pass it around. I placed this on my door, so then I read it whenever I left. Whenever I would leave the house, I would read it. And just to ingrain this, to plant it in my subconscious. And then one day, I'm feeling this heaviness, and I'm like, wait, for you, God, for you I thirst. Like, oh, I know what that first line means now. For you I thirst. All the times I was thirsty, all the times I was hungry, searching, seeking out in the world, what's gonna make me happy? No, it was really God that I thirsted for all along. Now again, not a God outside of us, with personality and ready to punish us, but a loving God, a comforting God, a presence, all the knowledge, all the presence, all the power. And that is within us. So I had to show up for myself. I was feeling so dense, so much density. And things from my childhood were coming back up. I've actually had thoughts of suicide from when I was younger. I didn't, actually get to the point of taking any actions, but I used to think, oh, well, I could sit on these train tracks, or like, so I went back to this place in my body, this density, and I felt like I had nothing. I moved, my career was not there, my car caught on fire, my career of teaching that I love just kind of fell away. I moved from my church home that I've called home since 2008, and I left and came back. And my relationship was shaky. It was actually looking like it was over. And there I moved 300 miles for that relationship. And then it actually became unhealthy because I was like, you're my joy, you're my life force, And then it's like, whoa, I need space. So then I realized that, the things that fed me spiritually are not here. So, but it is here within me. So I had to find new ways of living that out. So it got really dense that it's like, what am I going to do with my life? Like, what am I even here for? I kept saying, why am I here? why am I in Michigan? But really, like spiritually, I was telling myself too, well, why am I here? So I had to show up for myself. I'm like, well, this isn't here, this isn't this. Well, I have my consciousness, I have me, and I really sat with myself. I don't think I've ever sat with myself that deeply. And I just really began to sit with myself and have patience with myself and gentleness with myself and stop blaming myself. You know me, I blamed myself for like everything. I was the reason everything happened. No, not everything's about you, Benjamin. You know? And I've been told that before, but I didn't really get it. I had to have the life experiences that went with it. So I showed up for myself and found joy again being with myself. Because people come and go, things come and go, the world is changing all around us. But we always have our consciousness. The I am, we always have. So I showed up for myself. And the guilt is the trick that the ego plays to keep us in it and on that downward spiral. So I had to let it go of it all. You know, it just is what it is. Life is what it is. I love the quote by Eckhart Tolle. Life is the dancer, but you are the dance. You are the dance. So every time I speak to someone, then there's another energy, right? And a thought shift. Or I've even seen it just making plans. Like, oh, I'm gonna go here. So then those plans in a relationship, they change their plans. Then it's like I decided not to, and then where are you? Oh, it all shifted. You know, we can't pause the river. We can't pause life. We would like to, maybe, but you stand in a river and it's always made new. There's no water that was there still there. So there is this dance, right? And the holy instant, the holy encounter. That's where I found joy. So I've really been focusing on relationships because when that consciousness meets my consciousness, that's nothing, there's nothing like that in the world. And we can also have that experience with ourselves. So what I found in all the changes in my life, that love is always there. Love always shows up. We channel it through us. The earth gives love if we're aware of it. So, thank you.